In 1944, something unprecedented began falling from the sky. No warning sirens, no approaching aircraft, no sound before impact, just an explosion. The weapon responsible was unlike anything the world had seen before. It traveled faster than the speed of sound. It climbed higher than any aircraft of its time. And for a brief moment in history, it became the most advanced piece of military technology ever deployed. This was the V-2 rocket, and it was the first man-made object to reach the edge of space. By 1943, Germany was losing the war. Allied bombing campaigns were devastating industrial cities. The Luftwaffe was weakening. Resources were shrinking. Strategic momentum was gone. Adolf Hitler demanded a Wunderwaffe, a wonder weapon, something that could change the course of the war through technological superiority. The result was the Aggregate 4 rocket, later renamed the V-2, short for Vergeltungswaffe 2, Vengeance Weapon 2. Unlike conventional artillery, this weapon would not rely on aircraft or pilots. It would be unstoppable. At the center of the project was a young engineer, Werner von Braun. He and his team at Peenemünde had been experimenting with liquid fuel rockets long before the war reached its peak. Originally, the dream was space travel. The reality became weaponization. The V-2 was powered by a mixture of liquid oxygen and ethanol. It generated about 25 tons of thrust at launch, an extraordinary number for the 1940s. It could reach an altitude of roughly 80 to 90 kilometers. That means it technically entered the boundary of space before descending toward its target. No defense system at the time could intercept it. Once launched, it was inevitable. The V-2 stood about 14 meters tall and weighed over 12 tons when fueled. After launch, it accelerated vertically before tilting toward its target. It used a primitive but revolutionary guidance system, gyroscopes, and an analog computer that adjusted trajectory mid-flight. At peak speed, it reached around Mach 4. By the time people on the ground heard the sonic boom, the explosion had already happened. It carried a 1-ton high explosive warhead, but despite its sophistication, it was not precise. It was a terror weapon designed not for tactical battlefield superiority, but psychological impact. The first operational launches began in September 1944. Targets included London, Antwerp, and other Allied cities. Over 3,000 V-2 rockets were launched. Approximately 9,000 civilians were killed. But here is the strategic paradox. The V-2 consumed enormous resources, rare materials, advanced manufacturing, thousands of skilled workers, and yet it had no meaningful impact on the outcome of the war. It was too late. Germany lacked air superiority. Fuel was scarce. Supply lines were collapsing. The rocket was technologically ahead of its time, but strategically irrelevant. Production of the V-2 was moved underground to the Mittelwerk facility after Allied bombing destroyed Peenemünde. There, forced labor was used. Over 20,000 prisoners died in brutal conditions assembling the rockets. More people died building the V-2 than were killed by its deployment. This remains one of the darkest aspects of the program, a reminder that technological achievement and moral cost are not the same thing. The V-2 failed for several reasons. First, cost. Each rocket was extremely expensive compared to conventional bombing. Second, inaccuracy. It could strike a city, but not a specific military installation reliably. Third, timing. By 1944, Germany no longer had the industrial capacity to capitalize on breakthrough weapons. The V-2 was a technological leap deployed by a collapsing regime. It was innovation without strategic stability. And yet, the story does not end in 1945. As the war ended, both the United States and the Soviet Union raced to capture V-2 technology and its engineers. Through Operation Paperclip, Werner von Braun was taken to America. His expertise would later contribute to the Saturn V rocket, the vehicle that carried humans to the moon. The same foundational principles used in the V-2 became the building blocks of modern space exploration. In a strange twist of history, a weapon designed for destruction became the ancestor of the space age. The V-2 was not the war-winning superweapon it was meant to be. It did not reverse Germany's defeat. It did not alter the strategic balance. But it changed something else. It proved that rockets could leave the atmosphere. It proved that guided ballistic missiles were possible, and it opened the door to both the Cold War missile race and space exploration. A weapon born from vengeance became the blueprint for humanity's reach beyond Earth. And that is the paradox of the V-2.